Live, local, breaking news. This is WYFF News 4 at 6 in high definition.
For the first time in South Carolina, a judge accepted a couple's application for a same-sex marriage license. It happened this morning in Charleston. But look at the crowd reaction here in Greenville. A judge told them no. She will not accept applications from same-sex couples. And with all this, South Carolina's law banning gay marriage was put to the test today.
The courts say that ban is unconstitutional, and today, all over the state, gay couples applied for licenses to get married. WYFF News 4's Nigel Robertson is right here right now. Nigel, what else happened today?
Well, the state is still trying to get its arms around what happened today. In Greenville, a judge denied same-sex couples a marriage license, but in Charleston, a judge accepted one. The question now is, what happens next? Excited, nervous, and anxious. One by one, 3 different couples applied for a marriage license.
Give you this.
And each time,
Return your application along with this paper here.
they were denied.
I appreciate you being so kind. And as you know, we will be back. We are still in love.
We had a little bit more hope this time. We kind of got our hopes up that it would be a yes.
So we asked Greenville County Probate Judge Deborah Faulkner why.
Nigel, the reason they were denied is because the issue of same-sex marriage is still in flux.
South Carolina law says same-sex marriages are not legal. But the Fourth Circuit Court, which includes North and South Carolina, said same-sex marriage bans are unconstitutional. Judge Faulkner told those questioning her decision that since the Supreme Court decided not to hear the case, her hands are tied.
If they had, and the decision by the Supreme Court was that all statutes banning same-sex marriage are unconstitutional, then we would follow that law and immediately begin issuing licenses.
But Wednesday morning, a judge in Charleston did accept a same-sex marriage application, which this crowd says gives them hope.
We're getting married next October, come hell or high water. And I can't imagine the joy that I'll feel that day if we can actually get married on that day.
South Carolina law saying it's illegal. The courts saying the ban is unconstitutional. 3 couples just hoping they can soon legally say, I do.
I am hopeful for that day, Nigel.
We're confident that it's not really a probably that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Again, right now, South Carolina law says same-sex marriages, civil unions, and domestic partnerships are not recognized by the state.
Nigel, thank you. Now, supporters of same-sex marriage gathered in front of the State House this morning. According to the state newspaper, Richland County says it is also accepting applications from same-sex couples. A probate judge there talked to the state about why her office is doing so. She said in part here, I believe it's time for this to change. It's a fundamental right to be with who you want to be with, close quote. Now, here is another look at the first couple to have a marriage license approved in South Carolina. Charleston County Probate Judge Irvin Condon today accepted the couple's application. This is this morning. South Carolina has a 24-hour waiting period for marriage licenses, and Condon says he plans to issue the license in Charleston County to Councilwoman Colleen Condon and Nichols Bleckley after that time frame, unless the move is overruled by the courts. Now, South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson was in the upstate today. We caught up with him at Ralph Chandler Middle School in Simpsonville and asked if he plans to continue his fight against same-sex marriage in the state.
My position is very simple. As the chief attorney for the state, I've taken an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution and be the state's attorney.
Now, Wilson said he plans to ask the state Supreme Court to halt gay marriage licenses. Governor Nikki Haley has weighed in as well, saying she will respect the rule of law as decided by the courts on gay marriage. Haley says she personally believes marriage should only be between a man and a woman, and she says she's waiting for clarity from the courts.
Greenville County voters might have to pay more at the grocery store as part of a penny sales tax to fix roads and bridges. WFF News 4's Myra Ruiz is live and local in Greenville tonight. And Myra, why are people just learning about this now?
Well, Greenville County Council members say when they voted to put this measure on the ballot, they thought things like food and medicine were exempt, but they have since learned that they are not. And that comes as a surprise to the many who are mostly just focused on the sidewalks, roads, and bridges that are slated to be fixed. So much has been said about the roads, bridges, and sidewalks that need to be fixed.
That if you don't pass this 1-cent sales tax in Greenville, they won't be done at all. No one wants to pay additional taxes to fix our roads. But the reality is we've got to fix our roads. We've got to come up with the resources to do that.
But Americans for Prosperity says the penny sales tax won't fix the problem.
We know this is a wink and a nod between the politicians and the lobbyists to bring more money into the council chambers so that they can spend it any way they'd like. Look, they've been sending out mailers. Even the county folks on the county council, had been sending out or been telling folks that this would not apply to food or medicine, and in fact, it will.
Greenville County Council leaders admit that was a mistake.
All I can do is apologize and blame me. I take responsibility. I didn't inform myself as well as I should have.
County Councilman Butch Kervin says when council voted to put the proposal on the ballot, they thought groceries were exempt. But he says council is certain that the money will not be spent on anything besides the projects designated by priority on the county website.
And we'll know at any given time exactly how much money is in there from the sales tax and how much money is available to spend on the projects listed in the ordinance.
But there are still questions about how much the sales tax will accomplish.
If we have a recession like we had in 2008, sales tax fall off, then we don't get as much money.
And whether the project's price tags come with hidden costs.
There are going to be a lot more government bureaucrats hired with this new money.
And there were also questions about which projects are slated to be fixed. Well, there's been a priority list on the Greenville County website since June. That's where you can find if the one you're concerned about is on that list. Now, voters do have a chance to voice their concerns about this issue on Tuesday, October 14th at 6 p.m. at the Greenville County Council chambers. The Election Commission is holding this. You can speak there, but you have to sign up beforehand. Myra Ruiz, WYFF News 4, live in Greenville.
Myra, thank you. Commitment 2014 now. In a big debate last night in North Carolina, Senator Kay Hagan and her Republican rival Thom Tillis traded words.
At one point, the two had a chance to ask one another questions, and Tillis took Hagan to task for her committee attendance.
But I'm mainly interested in where were you and why were other commitments more important than sitting in that Foreign Affairs Committee?
Well, let me clarify something, George. I am not on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I serve on the Armed Services Committee. And Speaker Tillis...
I stand corrected. May I ask, were you not present for 50% of those meetings?
George, I'm on the Armed Services Committee.
Senator Hagan went on to answer the question, saying she has chaired numerous counterterrorism hearings, and she noted her open and closed-door meetings with the Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel.
Right now, the polls show Senator Kay Hagan is leading the North Carolina U.S. Senate race. According to the Suffolk University USA Today poll, Hagan has a 2-point lead over her Republican challenger, Thom Tillis. She is ahead 47% to Tillis's 45%. 4% say they would vote for Libertarian Sean Haugh, and 3% are undecided. There were other debates last night. Those running for U.S. Senate in Georgia debated at the state fair.
I'm not sure that he recognizes that he's not running against Harry Reid or Barack Obama. He's running against me.
Michelle, I have a lot of respect for you, but you're dead wrong. I am absolutely running against Barack Obama and Harry Reid.
You can see the crowd getting involved there. Republican David Perdue and Democrat Michelle Nunn are battling for the U.S. Senate seat that was held by Saxby Chambliss, who is leaving office. The two argued that the other would not be able to advance anything if elected. And Georgia's gubernatorial debate was also held at the state fair. Last night, Democrat Jason Carter and Governor Nathan Deal had an exchange of words over the state's economy.
We're dead last in how fast we're recovering from the recession, and folks out here in Middle Georgia and Perry and Macon aren't feeling it. And my question is, how long do they have to wait in your economy to get the benefits that you're talking about?
Senator Carter, I know that you're young and inexperienced, but obviously you're trying to hold me accountable for the Great Recession. You are quoting numbers of 10 years ago. I wasn't responsible for the Great Recession. Why don't you talk about what's happened since I've been governor?
Now, there are 3 people in Georgia's race for governor: Democrat Jason Carter, Republican incumbent Nathan Deal, and Libertarian Andrew Hunt.